Okay. I'm gonna stop looking at the Twitch stream here so I can look at myself in real time. Okay. I'm gonna turn my volume down. Looking at the Twitch stream here so I can look at myself in real time. No. Okay. I'm gonna turn my volume down. Looking at the Twitch stream here so I can look at myself in real time. No. Okay. That was really sad. I'm hoping that people are still logging on if anybody's going to be here, because that was really sad. Me accidentally listening to myself and unable to figure out how to turn it off. Happy Easter, I guess. I don't know. It's very weird. It's very lovely outside. But I live by myself. It's another day. It's not like it's that much different, but it is a little more depressing. I'd usually be with my family. And I have a feeling that other people would be too. If you would be with your family and you're not, say so in the comments and I'll take a look at them. Yeah, we don't have any shows today because it's Easter. And I figured that probably people are like me. I'm updating. Probably people are like me, that they don't, sure, it's cool, like maybe it's nice to take a day where you don't do a show, but I don't have anything to do today. And it's kind of just hitting home that I don't have anything to do today. I don't have anything to promote. By the way, doesn't appear that anybody's here, so I'll just keep talking. My name is Courtney. I work at the Hideout. Anytime you see me post on our social media, it's me. Usually, sometimes other people post, but almost, I'd say like 95% of the time it's me. So I do, the stuff that goes along with that, trying to work at the press, trying to promote our shows, get more people into the theater, or at this moment, get more people watching our Twitch stream. And so today I don't have any things to promote. And I do have like work I can do, but I was like, I'm going to chill today. But then me chilling today led to me feeling anxious and existential about what the point of stuff is. I hear children in my neighborhood shouting. So people are having a good time, and lots of people are walking in my neighborhood, and I should walk my dogs, but they're pains in the ass. I don't know, does anybody else have a dog that loves walking, but God, they're just such dicks about it that it becomes a chore? Because I hate walking my dogs. They're assholes. They yell at every other dog. They spend the entire walk fighting with me. Yeah. So if you're here, if you're in the chat, say hi. So I can, respond to some of the things. If anybody has any questions, I'll answer them. The Hideout, we've been trying to figure out, what it is that people need from us. Not necessarily that we can fix anything, but if there was something that you would enjoy seeing, or something that you would enjoy if somebody did, or something that would mean a lot to you that's within our realm, let us know. We have, as improvisers, the ability to create things very quickly. SNL did their first show last night. It was not live, pre-taped from people's homes, bits of, quarantine content slash Zoom content slash Twitch, just stuff that basically we're all going through, sketches about that. And some other stuff. They did one that was middle-aged Mutant Ninja Turtles. Not exactly timely, but something I bet was pretty easy to put together on the separation scale. Not, they animated it, so that's not easy, but like just get some actors to record their parts individually and some animation, stuff like that. So, a bit of the real world, but we do improv, which means we have been doing this for weeks longer than SNL has. SNL, who has a fuck ton of money. No, I'm sure it's not that much, but compared to us, it's a lot. We can just hop on and be like, we've been training our whole lives for this. We've been training our entire improv lives for just coming up with stuff when people need something to do or watch or think about other than being alone or being sick, or people they love being sick, or people in their nation dying. I keep checking for any questions or comments or anybody to just say hi. Maybe everybody else is finding eggs or having cascarones broken over their heads. But I've just been sort of chilling, as I've been saying today, and but it's really just sort of a existential nothingness. Is it really chilling if you didn't choose to chill? Trying to convince myself that I chose to chill. Anyway, so the Hideout, we train, we do improv. This is what we spend our days rehearsing and our nights performing, to be able to adjust on the fly and to improvise and to throw things against the wall and see what sticks. We've been trying out this family class that is on Saturdays at 4. Basically, you and your family sign up for the class and we teach you a game, then you guys play it together. It's on Zoom. It's not like we teach you a game and we send you away. We bring you back and so on and so forth. And, people, a few people sign up for it, but not a whole lot. And so that's, it's just like, well, we thought maybe some people would like that. And some people do, but not a lot of people. So that's what we're doing, is just sort of like throwing things against the wall and seeing if they stick. Different kinds of shows, different kinds of classes. And if you have thought of anything, been like, what I could really use is blank. We could try something and make it stick. We're just a theater, but we can also help people smile a little bit or escape for a bit. We are also a coffee shop. We're downtown in Austin, and downtown there's a lot of people experiencing homelessness, and normally they're always there, but they are now there by themselves. And anytime anybody goes downtown, there's just it's a lot more concentrated. These people who stay down there all the time and who, you'll give like a quarter, a dollar to, and now have no one for that, to fill that function. And so if anyone goes down there, there's a lot of people around them. And so we're supposed to be staying 6 feet away from each other. So that means that anybody who came to our coffee shop was experiencing a lot of crowding in a time of pandemic. So we finally closed the coffee shop this week. It was super sad, and it wasn't what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to get people coffee if they needed it, and to be able to keep the coffee shop open as it has been for 20 years. But, you know, we, just like everything, we've just been adapting. So that was a super sad thing for us this week. We have sort of settled into a schedule, an online show schedule. We have a maestro on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and we have a PGraph show on Thursdays at 7:30 or 8. I think it's 8. And the Free Fringe at 9:30. Both of those are on Thursday. And then on Friday, we have the Threefer, which is 3 troops doing their individual styles. And we might have another show sometimes. But on Saturday, PGraph has 2 shows, one at 3 and one at 7:30. And then we have a maestro at 10 p.m. We have a kids show that happens on Thursdays at 4 p.m. and on Sundays at 11 a.m. So that's sort of the schedule we've settled into. This week, we're sort of starting our like more heavy rotation of adult classes. This is if you're at home and you've always wanted to take improv classes and now you have the energy, or maybe, you know, being in a room with a bunch of people was really super intimidating. Now you're sort of in a Zoom chat with a bunch of people and it kind of feels a little bit less like, it feels a lot less pressure if you're the kind of person who feels pressure from that. I know that when I took improv classes, the amount of people that were in the class was really intense. And it was very hard to go every week. Hey, somebody says hi. Oh, Jessica. Oh, my teacher was great, Kareem. Kareem was one of my teachers when I took improv. I started classes at the State, which is a theater here, a nonprofit that is 1 block away from the Hideout. I took classes with Shayna Merlin there, and we had, you know, it was sort of an abbreviated course schedule. She had a 101 or whatever she called it, and then she had a 201. And then after that, you know, there wasn't really anything to do. So she talked to Andy, who currently still works at the Hideout, who worked at the Hideout then, and said, can we do our 301 there? So I had my 3rd level of improv classes at the Hideout, and Kareem was the TA. Thank you. Somebody complimented my curtains. Thank you. I don't know when I started classes. I think it was in 2005. I don't know, 2006. I mean, that's about the ballpark. Hi. So everybody had like abbreviated sort of courses at the time. I don't think anybody had like level 4 or level 5. You know, we were going up to level 3 and that was it. That's the impression I get. You know, I wasn't really very entrenched in the improv scene at the time. But yeah, so I definitely had a hard time going back every week because of how many people were in the class and how like overwhelming it is. I have a super hard time walking into a room that's filled with people, just because it's just a lot of like energy being pushed my way and energy being pulled out of me. So if you feel like that, maybe, you know, that was something that was keeping you from taking improv classes before, that maybe, you know, this new Zoom format might be something that works better for you. Do I remember what my first troupe names were? I do. My very first troupe was called Snackers. We were together a while, and we came up with long form formats, like narrative formats. So we do like a run, kind of like like a show run, but it was us. And so the first one we did was a John Hughes one. We called it Snackers Club. We followed some teenager in the 80s through their sort of like absurd life. We made sure to add like a lot of the absurdity that are in John Hughes movies, or at least we tried to. We also were super inexperienced, so they were probably train wrecks. But we also like, we were super excited when we discovered like how we could do a montage, like, somebody getting ready, and passing time, stuff like that. Things that we discovered on our own because we hadn't seen anybody do that. It's not that nobody had been doing that. We had just not seen anybody do it. So, in our rehearsals, and I'm sure if anybody's watching who has been doing improv for a while, they know about rehearsing in RLM, which is a building on the UT campus that is poorly supervised enough, I guess, that people can go and rehearse in the classrooms there. I always imagined us like roaches. The poor like janitorial workers would come in and just be like, I need to clean this room. And we're in there like rolling around on the floor. So everybody did that back in the day. And I think we never brought a wet bar into the green room, but we did host the threefer. That might be No Chaser, because that sounds like what was their thing. And we were like in the same era. But we never had any booze. Let's see, the second format we did, I think, was called Switcheroo, which is sort of a Freaky Friday sort of thing. And we had a really hard time with it because, again, we didn't really know what we were doing. So our shorthand for when somebody got switcherooed, because we couldn't figure out we didn't have like a light person. It was just whoever was working the lights at the time. So we couldn't like depend on that to be like, oh, this is how you signify that this is happening. We would say, I'm in the wrong body. And that's why everybody knew that the switcheroo had happened. And that was pretty funny. I really enjoyed that. Ooh, Jesus Christ. I just destroyed everything. Sorry, everybody. Heiberg was in a lot of troops. He was enough, and it was really hard at a point where you're just like, when can you rehearse? Kareem saying that Heiberg was the one plying people with drinks. He was in a lot of troops. It might have been the Leading Brands, which was pre-Snackers. Yes, Leading Brands. And then, okay, after that, man, I had a series of like troops that were like maybe one show. I did a show with another person named Courtney. It was as before we realized that everybody does this. You find a person with your same name and you do a show with them. I did one show with her, but actually I'm going to troop with her right now, and she's one of my good friends. So like I didn't know her at all at the time, and it was a weird fucking show, and we were both just like, ooh. I did a show with my friend James and someone else, and it was called Lo Mismo. And James spoke Spanish only, and I spoke my like elementary Spanish, so basically like I list groceries and things in the living room, and I spoke English, and then the other person just spoke English, and we tried to do a show. It was it was very funny, just being in the middle of it and trying to figure out what the fuck was happening. And I talked about apples a lot in this show. I think we maybe did 1 or 2 shows. We did it in a cage match at Cold Town. And this was before like everything was working as much, or people were doing as much stuff as they were now. So Snackers, we were having a hard time getting booked. I mean, it wasn't anybody's, I don't think it was because we were bad or because theaters weren't booking us. it's just like there weren't that many shows a week. And so we started a show at the, uh, what's that place? Kick Butt Coffee. It was on Monday nights. There were no shows on Monday nights. It was called the Monday Night Mash. It was at Kick Butt Coffee, and we would do shows on the stage there. There are no lights. Actually, there was like a light board, but like the rest of the coffee shop was still lit, and they would like make smoothies during the show. So you just have to wait. And we'd often have to like kick people off of the stage who were like doing their homework or whatever so we could do our show. And eventually they told us that they were canceling the show. And then Cold Town picked it up, and it's still running at Cold Town, Monday Night Mash. There you go. That's some story for you. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure why I ended up talking about that. Anyway, Snackers did a bunch more formats, and then eventually we stopped doing shows together, and everybody moved / had babies. But you know, it's a sweet memory. We had a reunion show in Out of Bounds a couple of years ago, which was really weird. I mean, it was great. Dave Buckman asked, and it was so sweet that he asked, but also it was just like, does anybody care about this? And we did a show where we were camp counselors. So anyway, so, you know, it might be a great dynamic for somebody who's super introverted, or, you know, I don't even know. I've been thinking about what introversion means, what extroversion means. We like to say a lot of this stuff, and what does it mean? Am I this label? I do know that being around people drains me of energy, and not in a way that's as, it sounds so dramatic, but that's not what it is. It's just like, it takes a lot of energy for me to be around people. It's not like there's a person here and they're just like, it's not like the Dementor is sucking my energy out of my soul. It's just like, it takes a lot of energy for me, and it takes me a while to warm up. Not warm up like improv warm up, just generally warm up. So I feel like that we, oh, am I still on? Okay, I got a phone call and it changed it. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I just wonder if this is a new way for people to enjoy improv, because improv is about joy and expressing yourself and having a good time. It's not about being showy or being funny. Sure, those are great, you know, things that'll help you along your way, but that's not what improv is. You know, it's about getting outside of yourself for a little bit, and then, you know, just having some fun with some people, and, you know, training yourself to be positive and imagining things being positive. It doesn't necessarily apply to your whole life, because, I mean, how could you possibly take some things that you learned in a class you're taking for 3 hours a week and apply it to the rest of your life? But it might seep in just a little bit. And even if it doesn't, you have fun for those 3 hours, and then you go back to your regular life. Or 2 hours. I don't know how long online classes are now. That's how long in-person classes are. Hello to somebody. Somebody says hi with a heart and a rainbow. And we've been having kids classes for a while. Jessica got that off the ground really fast. And by a while, I mean like since this started, we've been knocking out kids classes. And the kids, they're really enjoying it. It's really giving them something to do and a way to socialize with other kids that's fun. I have a kid, he only sees other kids when he's doing classes for school. So, you know, he's not the kind of person who wants to do an improv class, but I can see lots of other kids being like, I need to just play with some other kids. And this is a great way to play with other kids in a way that's structured so that it's a little more relaxing, you know, instead of like being on your iPad together and trying to figure out what you're going to say to each other. Anyway, so if you have a kid, they might be looking for something like that. The classes are super easy. You don't need anything to do them. You don't need any art supplies. Hey guys, improv, great hobby. Sure, you can spend a fortune on workshops or classes, but you never have to buy anything. You don't have to buy clay wheels or paintbrushes or workout equipment. Sure, if somewhere down the line you get into a troupe or you do a show, you might have to buy costumes, but probably it's gonna be a lot cheaper. I get all my shit at Savers. Savers is the best, BT dubs. But I mean, it's just like, it's a pretty cheap hobby and way more gratifying. And it's a nice way to not have to worry about trying to make friends. I've taken many fine arts classes and I never talked to anybody in those classes, because that's not really the point. I go there and I'm trying to like draw. But improv, it's about talking to people and being around people. Anyway, so that's what's been happening around the Hideout. So just think to yourself of anything that you might want or need from us, something that would make your life better. We're not going to be able to fix anything, but we might make something that will make you laugh or cry a little bit in a good way, or make you smile, because we're brimming with ideas always. But if there's something out there that the audience needs, that's something we always want to know, and something that we'd be able to deliver on. We'll be able to deliver on quickly. Yeah, suck on that, SNL. I was talking with Roy this morning about, because he watched it last night and I watched it this morning when I woke up, about the fact that like they didn't even seem to like buy them mics and ship them to them or get them any like lights or anything like that. And I'm not saying like a studio, I'm just talking about like something a fucking YouTuber has, just basic stuff. I was so weird. That was so weird to me. They did have the cast watch on Weekend Update. They had the cast watch to provide a laugh track, and it was super weird. It was not good. It was like watching a rehearsal that somebody had to watch and then had to laugh. Because like you could tell distinctly that A.D. Bryant was laughing at certain things or whatever. I don't know. It was like, it seemed like it would be fun and friendly and warm, but it just felt very stilted. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading things. Yeah, we're on the cutting edge of this whole thing. I can't take any credit. I just was sort of around when things happened, but yeah, they're figuring out things that we figured out several weeks ago. And yeah, having people laugh was really weird. But yeah, I just don't understand why they didn't like ship them some cheap mics, because like there were literally people who in a sketch, I could not understand them. And they looked like they were in a fog. And I was like, you could have bought some shitty shit off of Amazon and had it delivered to their apartment, and it would have improved it enough to where we could see and hear them a little bit, but not so much that you felt like like they were trying to recreate the feeling of the studio. It still feels like it's somebody's apartment. It will always feel like it's somebody's apartment. It was so weird. And I was just like, it would have cost them so little money. But anyways, yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Because I don't know. I just wanted to talk about Hideout stuff and say hi to people and give anybody any warm feelings on this day, because I'm not doing nothing. I'm trying to stay out of the hole. Oh, thank you, Jessica. Yeah. If I don't know. I think when the theater aspect, the physical theater aspect of something is taken, when that's taken away from you, you have to realize and try and like really think about what theater is. Is it about the stage, or is it about the experience? And like, who are we to each other? And feeling like things are real and that we're experiencing things together. We watch Netflix, but those people aren't experiencing that with us. People are experiencing stuff with us when we're doing our shows. Kareem says that theater is mostly about wigs and props, and he's not wrong. But that is an experience. I have not had a tasty snack today. I ate some cereal this morning, and I was gonna make some lunch, and then I got distracted and did this. Now I'm super hungry. Have you had a tasty snack today? I was thinking about making some breakfast for lunch, and some like potatoes and eggs and spinach and black beans maybe. I have the stuff to make corn tortillas. Do I want to do that? It doesn't actually take that long, but it is a pain in the ass. It's kind of, yeah, like you're taking this masa and you're like smashing it into like a nice, like to the right shape, and then you cook it. And I find that I'm like exhausted afterwards because I'm like smashing the shit out of this stuff. So anyway, maybe I'll make some corn tortillas. Oh, guacamole and potato chips. Dang, that sounds decadence. I love potato chips. Guacamole is amazing. The only thing that keeps me from doing it is that them potato chips are just gonna get shredded in that guac. Just get shredded in that guacamole. Yeah. Theater. Yes. Jessica, theater's about agreeing to make believe and everyone there going along with it. It's creating worlds together. Yeah, I did a show last night with P Graph, and I kept like changing the background to where I was like in a football field or I was in a locker room or whatever. And then after a while, I was just like, I don't know, I keep disappearing because the technology can't keep up with me moving around. Am I creating more of a world by doing that? Or am I just drawing attention to the fact that I keep disappearing into the background? I might actually be detracting from the experience. I'm not sure. But I think it was fun to do. But I'm not really sold on the background thing. I think it actually makes it so it's harder to concentrate on what the character's doing. And plus, you know, we just use a black box while we're at the theater. And I imagine all sorts of things happening on that stage. I can imagine all those things happening in my house. Gozer. Gozer needs to say hi. She doesn't need to. She doesn't actually care about this. But she does know that when I'm like sitting at my computer and I call her over, she might get manhandled some. I've used her in several shows and I've been like, come on, let's run, let's go. Yeah. And she's like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. But she's a good girl. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm just vamping because I'm actually going to self-slime. It's like self-isolating. The story behind that is that I do this show called I'll Take the Physical Challenge. I'm probably talking to people who know this all. And at the end of the show, we slime a couple of players. The slime is made out of cornstarch, water, and food coloring. That's it. And it's really cold and it's very messy. And we have a fan, I guess, on Facebook who continually asks for us to ask for more sliming stuff. Like when we were doing the show, this is in person, they asked for us to, like, a specific thing, like the person should look up while they're getting slimed and stuff like that. And we're just like, what? And their name is Slimea Thon. So like Slimathon, but they broke it between the A and the T. And then recently they've been asking for people to slime themselves at home. So we keep thinking, how much are people willing to pay for people to slime themselves? So maybe we'll slime ourselves. Yeah. Yes, the tech is just another another edge to the show within the show. It's true. I just like my hand would disappear if I raised it up. If I put like a hat on, like I showed up better than if I didn't have a hat on. And I was like, am I making this more? Am I making it so it's harder to pay attention to what's happening? I don't know, but also it doesn't matter. It's an improv show, and it comes and it goes, and you experience it, and then you don't have to think about it anymore if you don't want to. But if you are an improviser, you know you'll just sit at home for the next few hours thinking about all the things you could have done that were different. I don't do that much anymore, but God, did I do that in the beginning. It would stay up all night. Yeah. All right. I think that's enough chatting. With Courtney Chats. I could probably change the name of this to something that actually like works alliteration wise, like Courtney's Courtyard or something like that. But you know, I've never been one to make a lot of sense. So Courtney Chats it is. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're doing all right. We love you. Let us know if we can do anything. Okay, bye.